as part of a human trafficking probe. News broke late Thursday evening by BNO News that the pair were arrested on December 29th. Now, this news comes just hours after Tate made waves with climate activist Greta Thunberg going back and forth on Twitter about carbon dioxide emitting cars. Tate, who had
for the victory lap though. Whoa, whoa, they ain't never seen nothing like this before. Lit the room when I came through the front door. Ask me if I stress overcome, what for? Train in the trees, please pardon my sycamore. Touch burning sands, cross lands and stormy shore seasons in the year, yeah. Ain't no challenge for champions and chain no fear. Yeah, the champ is here, switch gears. We're keeping haters in the rear.
What's going on, y'all? It is Common Sense, and we are back. We're here for a super controversial topic, but first, we're going to go ahead and start with introductions. Go ahead on, shout out your A-Libs, any social media handles you got.
Yeah, y'all, this is C. Julius Workout. Check me out on Instagram and on YouTube. Don't forget, in the video, like, comment, subscribe, and please share. That's it from me.
Okay. You already know it's your boy, Shop P90, Big Guy Fashion, MX Black Fitness, Lip Dish, YouTube, all that good jazz. So we are here to talk about the super controversial Andrew Tate. I mean, if you don't know who Andrew Tate is, then you definitely probably not watching my videos anyways. So, you know, it just is what it is, right? So Andrew Tate, pinned the king of toxic masculinity, right? Former, was it four-time kickboxing champion, turned misogynist is what they say, you know. Yeah, him and his brother have gained notoriety inside the red pill manosphere community for a lot of controversial stances on, well, I guess women. I mean, to put it simply, you know. Yeah. But yeah, so I believe it was a little over a year ago. Andrew Tate was up on charges for alleged human trafficking. I think, you know, they, were doing some type of investigation, and then we didn't hear anything of it, right? And then as of yesterday, it's today, yeah, Thursday. As of Thursday today, Andrew Tate and his brother were arrested for trafficking. Yeah, so a possible trafficking, right? So, which ironically enough, and here's the kicker. Ironically enough, this seemed to stem from a live video that he had from a Twitter beef with Greta Thunberg. I don't know if I'm saying that right or whatever, right?
The high school student?
Well, she's 19 now. She's not high school anymore. Yeah, you know what I mean? So, you know. And so, and if you don't know who Greta Thunberg is, right? Greta Thunberg is a social media equal, you know, warrior, essentially, right? Who gained notoriety back in like 2017, 2018, something like that. Because, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know how the fuck everybody, like, you know, just rally behind this little girl. Like, people have been saying the same shit for years, and then as soon as this little Swedish blonde hair, blue eyed chick comes to say some shit, right? You know what I mean? And then everybody's like, oh my God, I'm like, I can't believe it. Like, we didn't know this. I'm like, yes, the fuck you did. You didn't care. But whatever. So she apparently was clapping back at Andrew Tate because he's always posting videos of these supercars and like shit like that or whatever, right? That are apparently
terrible. Yeah, she's super green. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. They're terrible for the environment. So what does Andrew Tate, Top G, do? He posts more videos, not only of his cars, but of his private jets as well too. And so the Twitter beef ensued. Ironically enough, while he was doing a live video, allegedly what ended up happening is that he was already up on charges, but the issue with that was that Romania, where he left the UK and he went to Romania, allegedly they didn't know whether or not he was in the country. So from a video, for his live video, apparently police forces were watching his live video and saw a pizza box that was from a local pizza, parlor that's in Romania, that confirmed that he was in Romania, and then the raid ensued. Yeah. So we're gonna react to a quick little video. And and then we'll talk about it afterwards.
All right, let's get it.
As part of a human trafficking probe, news broke late Thursday evening by BNO News that the pair were arrested on December 29th. Now, this news comes just hours after Tate made waves with climate activist Greta Thunberg going back and forth on Twitter about carbon dioxide emitting cars. Tate, who had previously been kicked off social media platforms for so-called misogyny and hateful ideations, had also made news last month. As Long Crime Network's Sidebar reported, he sued YouTuber Ethan Klein after Klein called him a sex trafficker. Now, at the time, Tate's attorney sent Klein a cease and desist order. Some reports now say Romanian officials used Tate's social media to confirm he was in their country before his arrest. We're still learning new details in this case and will continue to bring you the latest developments as they come in. Reporting for Long Crime Network, I'm Sierra Gillespie.
All right, I got a quick question. So, why was he arrested? So were they looking for him? And they found him in Romania.
So allegedly, Romanian police is saying that they were looking for him, but they weren't sure if he was in Romania or not, and they used his social media to pretty much say like, "Hey, I am, here." Essentially, yeah.
So, are they insinuating he's been evading the cops for like a year now?
So that's what they're not really making clear. Right,
because he's definitely been on social media, like in Miami and everywhere.
So as far as thank you, right? But then even then though, and he's definitely been like back and forth, like here and there. Now I have noticed though over the since his YouTube got taken down, I have not seen him in the U.S. though. And we have seen him on a lot of social media platforms and stuff like that on other people's platforms, but he was not in the U.S. at any point. That much I will say. He was, however, in the UK because there's a few British YouTubers, like fitness YouTubers that I follow, and he was in the UK with them. And more recently, I have stopped seeing him in any of the videos in the UK. I've mostly only been seeing him in Romania. So like Bradley Martin flew out to Romania and was on his like podcast and like stuff like that, and his live video and everything. So again,
so the warrant was out from Romania.
So that's what they're trying to say essentially. Yes.
Okay.
Now the reality is that he was charges were already trying to be brought up on him like a while back, and we didn't hear anything of it. Now it could have been that they did some investigation, and from the investigating, right, that they determined that he's guilty, and then from there they can make a determination. And the reality is that from American standards, Andrew Tate would be huge flight risk because of his money and status and power, private jet. You know what I'm saying? So then, in all honesty, regardless of how you feel about him, like from a police standpoint, what they did, it was smart. Because if they put out a warrant for his arrest anyways, like he could have just like flew to another fucking country.
That makes sense. Yeah, just try to be quiet and let him come to you.
Exactly. So if that part is true, now the issue is that for this situation is that if it's not true, right? Because here's the real situation. If it is true that he was trafficking these girls, his brand's dead. That's just the reality of the situation. If it is true that he was trafficking these girls, his brand is dead. If, however, it's not true, right? And then this happened not even 3 days after, not even like 2 days after he got into a Twitter beef with Greta Thunberg. Then you see what I'm saying? It's gonna look bad. Like it's gonna look so bad. They're gonna all that bullshit he be saying about the Matrix and everything. Motherfuckers are gonna start to think it's true.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is like the opposite of the Megan Thee Stallion situation where, regardless of what happens, he's already screwed. Because once they say you're trafficking humans, people are going to believe regardless of the outcome.
See, but here's the thing: I don't agree, because here's the reality situation. Andrew Tate, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I don't agree with some of the stuff that he says, but overall, he's an asshole. That's like non-negotiable. He's a fact, right? And I think in a previous interview, he said, I mean, it was taken out of context, but still, the fact that he was bold enough to say it, he said that women who were raped, still bear some of the responsibility. Like for somebody to be that bold to say that, right? So they've demonized him for years now. Like he's and people know his backstory, his history, how controversial he is, and then there's still a lot of young men who are still flocking to him. You see what I'm saying? So those guys specifically, because they're like his diehard fans, then there's diehard haters, and then it's like people like you and me, where we're kind of like, like I mean, be honest with you, you know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of where most like 30-something-year-old men who are doing okay in life, that's kind of how we are. We're kind of like, I hear what he's saying. I'm not saying I agree with everything, but he does make some valid points.
Yeah, he's very hyperbolic. So
yeah, of course, and we know
that's really most people in media.
Yes, and I'm not going to disagree with that. So I think that's kind of where, and the reality is that we don't even have enough information right now.
Yeah, do they even have? Who are these women?
So that's the thing, is that apparently it was two women, and they haven't released their names yet, but apparently it was two women who were allegedly very good friends with the Tate brothers, right? And then the story is that they, flew them out and everything like that, and they were friends with them, and then apparently they started, having them do illicit acts, you know what I mean, like for adult entertainment, and you know what I mean. So they're like watching, So they're recording them and like stuff like that. And the way they got them to do it is through coercion and threatening.
Yeah, and that's where the trafficking and then the coercion and doing it in against your will in a different area. That's where the trafficking part comes in, and that's where to me the human trafficking, like. Because human trafficking, it sounds bad, but it's actually really easy to do. And I realize you're doing it.
People don't understand. Like if I'm like Blair Underwood, right? And I'm super freaking. That was probably bad as this, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like but whatever, right? You know what I'm saying?
He's like 5'2", but go on.
Yeah, whatever. Hey, they still like him, but you know what I mean. And I'm super famous. I'm rich, and I'm single, right? You know what I'm saying? And I fly a chick out, right? And if I fly a chick out, right? That could potentially end up being a trafficking. So if I'm in France somewhere and I fly them out, and then you know what I mean, and she ain't trying to smash or whatever, right? And then let's say and this is hypothetical, right? And let's say that I'm like, okay, cool, you're not trying to. If you're not trying to smash, you can get the hell out of here. He's like, okay, well, you're gonna pay for my ticket back. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, I don't have to do anything, right? And in fact, if you want to stay here, then you gotta. You see what I'm saying? That's how coercion and everything can lead to a potential trafficking situation. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm not really. I mean, I'm not, some huge Andrew Tate supporter, but I'm not convinced it's like. I'll say this. My thought is it's probably not a situation where they're literally like getting girls from America or wherever and then selling them. Like, I don't think it's that.
Yeah, and it's just like this is way too convenient. This is way too convenient. That's my big thing. I don't even really care, but it's like really convenient because it's like. They took him off all social media platforms, right?
Yeah.
But that didn't have the effect that they were hoping for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because everybody started interviewing him.
And exactly. In fact, the amount of views that his reshares have gotten since he hasn't been able to post his own social media have actually increased dramatically. So it's had the opposite effect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And nobody really wants to kind of like talk about that. Like, it's just like,
Yeah, I mean, it's convenient. I mean, it could be, again, by the law, it could be true. I don't know how the Romanian government works. I don't know if it's one of those places where it's like here where you're innocent until proven guilty, or you actually guilty until proven innocent.
Yeah. That
could play a factor. I mean, that's dicey. To your point, man. I mean, the way the world is, the quote unquote matrix, if you're loud and going against the grain, they want to silence you. So they could be screwed.
Yeah. And he could be, because like you said, because they want to silence him. I mean, you know what I mean? And it's just like he's super controversial, right? I'm not going to sit up here and say that, but at the same time, though, it still is kind of supporting the theory that, like, hey, we don't really like it when men are too masculine or men are, this or whatever, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like,
Yeah, I mean that's the real big, that's the Achilles heel, man. Because I was watching this like on Netflix recently. I was just like scrolling through like the different movies, and there's a lot of shows right now. Like it's all the shows. Most of them are like, which I think is just really getting really crazy. It's like I'm starting to see more movies where there's like a love story where there's like a white woman lead who's single, trying to get money, who ends up dating the guy at work, and it's based on a sexual relationship. And then there's like a bigger black woman, a gay black man,
yep,
and or like an Asian, like there's an and or situation, right? And then like the gay white guy. It's just like, and you're seeing just like more of it to the point where it's just like it's not even, but like it's just not that common. And then you got someone like Andrew Tate who's just trying to keep things like how like they naturally are.
Yeah.
Like I was commenting on some some videos from our YouTube channel, and like one of the things I said was keeping women independent is a huge keeping women independent benefits the world economically.
Yeah, that's true.
And people, Andrew Tate, even though he talks about being getting all these women, if you listen to all his content, he's definitely for marriage. He may not get married, but he understands the benefit of marriage, the benefit of having a 2-parent household. So like, and all those things, like a 2-parent household is like the complete opposite of what a lot of these World Economic Forums want. These councils, diseases, that's the last thing they want. They want people to be needy and separated. When you're separated, you destroy your financially, all your emotional connections. You're just scared. And as a woman, I mean, that's the worst place for a woman to be by herself with no male protection.
Yeah, it is.
They don't really realize that, because I remember like it was one podcast which I kind of disagree with it, but her name is Jedediah, I think. So she reacted to herself, basically how she was reacting to a video of Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate was saying that, insinuating basically that women shouldn't take self-defense classes. Now, I disagree with that, but I do agree with what he was saying. So, to my opinion, effectively what he was saying was that women shouldn't take self-defense classes because it gives them the sense that they can just basically kick a man's ass in general, right?
That's not true.
I think women should take them in the sense of, hey, I'm walking down the street in the middle of the night and some random dude pull up on me. I don't think you should try to use that shit against your partner when it's not necessary. So like, for example, like I'm never gonna put my hands on my wife. I don't need her threatening me with like a karate chop.
And that's
I think that's what, and again, that's where I say like Andrew Tate's hyperbolic, because I get what he's saying, but it's not literally true. But I get what he's saying. And it's just people like that. They gotta get rid of people like that, because you can't have someone like Andrew Tate telling women they can't take self-defense classes.
Yeah, that part I definitely agree with. And it's crazy too. Actually, I'm gonna show this really quickly.
Yeah, go ahead.
The truth is this. So I knew it was coming.
Because he actually had even, I think, and I remember this one too. I think I saw it a while back, where he had actually even predicted like his arrest. And this was months ago.
I think I saw the he said there's like 3 phases of life or something like that. But yeah.
Well, that was. The truth is this. So I knew it was coming. I absolutely knew it was coming because of how orchestrated it was. The only thing, and I'll state this at the beginning, the only reason I'm upset by being canceled is because I've expired one of my lives. Because first you get canceled, then they make up a reason to put you in jail, and if that fails, they kill you. So now I'm down to my last 2 lives, which is also why while I'm answering this question, I'm still being careful how I'm answering it. I'm not telling you
scary shit.
It's scary because they've given me the warning, and I'm still running my mouth.
Yeah.
So that's scary. The truth is this. So I knew it was coming. I absolutely knew it was coming.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
I mean, he's telling the truth. It was funny, like I mean, I'm not comparing what his work to what, like, you know, the civil rights movement, but it's the underlying results is the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, we all know that though. Like that's like, and people who talk about like government conspiracies and like stuff like that all the time or whatever, right? And you talk about it all day and night, right? As long as you're not, big enough to make an impact, then they don't care. You know what I mean? That's just the reality situation. Because I think it was in like either 1999 or the year 2000. Like Martin Luther King Jr.'s family actually won a legal case stating that the government was actually responsible for killing Martin Luther King. Now it went to the Supreme Court and was later the decision was overturned. Of course it was. You know what I'm saying? Like, but the fact that they had like a legal ground, right, and legally binding, saying that like, hey, there was enough evidence at one point to like prove that you see what I'm saying? So it's like,
yeah. I mean, I mean, Andrew Tate, again, I don't know if it's true. It could be true. I'm not gonna say it's not true, but there's definitely a gender war, and there's literally a manhunt.
Oh yeah, that part
to
is
destroy anybody who speaks against the establishment.
Yeah, that part is
Which the establishment is basically trying to get us to live like eating government cheese, government this, government that. You all have subsidized housing. Yep. You get your internet from this place. You get all your subscriptions from this place. You make this amount of money. You're happy. You have sunshine. You have no worries, but you can't elevate yourself at all. Nope. I do not want to live like that.
Nope.
Completely against that.
Yep.
But that's what they're trying to take us to. And I'm like, nah, player. And and Andrew, that's what like I've heard him say that Jedediah, just all these people, like I agree, like it's definitely real. Like they're not really even hiding it in my opinion.
No, they're not. Yeah,
it's
they're
super
really
obvious. Like what's going on.
Yeah, they're not because it's just okay. Whenever it is getting too big or something like that, it's like, oh, cool. Another black guy got shot by the police, or you know what I mean, trans this or whatever. Like they know what they're doing. I mean, again, I don't care enough to say anything because I'm just like, because reality is that this all this information is like common knowledge.
I think the sad part is that like to an extent, like I kind of agree. Like I see why it can work because if you don't really want to strive for anything in life, shit sounds like I think to most people it does sound attractive.
It does, yeah. Because hey, I get to be as lazy as I can, and then somebody will always come and save me.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like with the pandemic, I don't think people really realize. Like, don't get me wrong. Like it was like. I do feel like the pandemic, like the shutdowns, I do agree with them to some extent, but I don't think people realize that was a test run to see if we tell you to do some shit, you'll do it.
Yeah, I agree.
and it was proven that you literally like you just did it. So I mean, what else can they get us to do without any pushback?
I agree.
That's why they want to take your guns. I mean, because you won't be able to fight back.
Yep.
I think it's really some simple shit, but look, I'm trying to get my money. Stay the hell away from me.
There we go. That's it, man. For real.
Yeah, I don't completely agree with Andrew Tate, but a lot of shit he preaches, I'm on the same page. I'm trying to get as much money as possible.
I do understand what it is that he's trying to. Same thing Joe Rogan, all of them are saying, like, hey, like, you want a little bit of government, in your own, like, what I'm saying, like major government, whatever they do is whatever they do. But in my day-to-day life, I don't want you involved in it.
I completely agree with that. You want the government out of your shit as much as possible.
Much as possible. Yep. Much as possible.
You do not want them in your shit because they don't really run the country that well, so they can't run your house very well.
That's a damn show.
I need them for military and extreme events like hurricanes.
Here we go.
They don't need you in my shit.
But not how I run my house, not how my kids are, none of that shit.
Yeah, that's literally what they're doing right now.
Yeah, it is. It's exactly what they're trying to do. And everybody knows. Yeah. So, but yeah, this is a great reaction video, though. It's super controversial. We're going to do a part 2 once we get some more information because, if we're being honest, we really ain't got a whole lot of information.
I saw that. I just think that just came out like today. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Again, I think. I don't know, man. I feel bad for the dude because I'm like, did y'all even have legit grounds for this?
I mean, it's also Romania, so it's not like it's like a whole like.
That's true. I just feel like nowadays people can just arrest people for anything.
Yeah, they can
with no valid proof.
It's true. But yeah, so like I said, this is common sense. We're gonna do a part 2. You got any last little thing about the ways?
Nah, man. Like I said, just comment, share, like, subscribe. Yeah.
All right, man. This common sense. We're out. Peace.
Peace. See y'all.